So, the Daily Wire recently released an article called Why So Many Good Women Are Still Single. And the premise of this article is essentially talking about the low birth rates and how we shouldn't just be blaming women for these birth rates, and that there are plenty of successful women who have jobs and everything, and they want to be married. And I have a lot to say about this because I got married later in life. I recently got married on July 4th, and um it took a long time for me to find the right person. So I understand this conversation very deeply. I'm also a Christian, I'm also conservative, and I do have a really wonderful career. I'm a constitutional lawyer. I've defended the First Amendment. I've appeared in national news to advocate for my clients. I've delivered dozens of speeches in front of thousands of people. I've testified in the US Senate. I've clerked for the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And really, I've had a wonderful career and I've enjoyed every minute of it. But it wasn't because I chose my career over a family. That is not what happened. If you're single and you're a woman, you have to work. And for me, if I have to work, I'm going to choose something cool. I'm not going to do something mediocre with my life. So I'm going to kind of go for it. And most of the women I know in the conservative Christian community, they do want to get married. But I mean, I also know women who want to get married and don't want to have kids, and I don't think that's biblical. So I think that's sort of a separate issue. But granted, I and there are also women who are kind of high on their own supply, and they're very sort of girl boss, and a lot of liberal women are that way. I know a few conservatives who are too. And I don't blame men for having issues with marrying women like that, but all conservative women, um, successful women that I know do want to get married. They just haven't found the right person. And I really think that the Christian community is terrible at ministering to singles. And I was single for a very long time, and I was in some really strong churches, and most of them are terrible at this. Not all of them. Dr. Tony Evans has some great books on being a great Christian single. He's got some sermons on it, and it's very, very good advice there. But for the most part, in the community at large, we're very bad at this. We assume that just because a woman is single and she's working, that means she's put her career over getting married, and that just isn't true. That just isn't true. I think that we need to stop making those assumptions, and we need to really look at women for their values and not because they have a great career. And I want to encourage a lot of women. Number one, if you look at Proverbs 31, and I want to pull it up. If you look at Proverbs 31, okay, the Proverbs 31 woman, she worked. If you start at verse 13, it says, she selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant's ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. So I think that demonstrates that this whole idea that just because you have a career, that means you don't want to get married, or the two are somehow incongruent. It's just not true. And biblically, it's not true. There's nothing wrong with women who stay home with their kids or anything like that. I believe wholeheartedly you should raise your own children. I was a teacher before I became a lawyer. And let me tell you, you should not trust the education system to raise your children. That is a bad idea. But it isn't true that just because you work that there's something wrong with you as a woman. And so I want to give you some encouragement as someone who was single through my 20s, through my 30s. It's really important that you submit to God on this issue, that you understand that God is not moved by our own worldly timelines, that he is seeking something much deeper in all of us than for us to have exactly what we want. He's seeking for us to have a relationship with him and for us to continue to move from glory to glory so that we can be better advocates for his kingdom, so that we can be better witnesses for him and the kingdom of God. Waiting on God is better. And I am so glad that I did not marry some of the people that I dated in the past, because they would not have been good partners for me. I know that because I know what some of them are doing with their lives right now, and it ain't good in some cases. In some cases it is, but in others it isn't. And so I think it's really important that you are committed to following God's heart on this issue. And I understand that it's difficult. Women, particularly, I know it's tough for men too, but I think that women have a bit of a harder time in this space because there are all these narratives about women and age and when women are desirable and when they aren't anymore. And those things are just worldly trash. And if you're a single woman, don't listen to that. And don't listen to anyone who tries to make it seem like you're out of your prime or you're not going to find someone because you're too old or something. None of that is true. And God can find someone for you no matter how old you are. That he has no limits, and you shouldn't let anyone place any limits on God and what he can do in your life. So stop talking to people who tell you those things. Guard your heart, guard your desires. And one of the things I had to do was make sure I did not speak about this with certain people. If I even mentioned this and people were very discouraging or I thought they were rude or whatever it is, I never mentioned it to them again. So you have to guard this, and continue to pray about it. And I'm going to give you something to pray that I believe really worked for me in just a second. But I want you to stay firm on the fact that only God knows the right time for you, only he knows the right person for you. And while some people find their partner right out of college or in their early 20s, not everyone does. And I don't think it's fair to assume that there's something wrong with you or anyone else just because they don't find someone in their 20s. I mean, that's just not how it works for everyone. And the fact of the matter is, some of the people I know who have found a partner that early, it didn't work out, and so you just can't control everything. You can't control everyone. And I think it's important that we put our lives in God's hands and realize that there are things that we just shouldn't do on our own, and we should always ask for his input in it. Um, And so that's that. So my encouragement for all of these singles, and even a couple tips, is to stay encouraged and to stay away from people to make you feel badly about being single. I did run into women sometimes who were married, and frankly, my own feelings were that in many ways they weren't happy with their lives, but being married made them feel like they had something over me. Maybe that's not fair to say, but that's the impression I got from some of these women, because I was so successful and because I had such a great career and because I was having a great time in that career. I think there may have been some jealousy there, and that's one of the reasons why they spoke about me being single the way they did, because they looked at it as something that they had over me. But anyway, for you, I want you to be, like I said, guard who you speak to about this. I want you to pray about this, to God, and let him um, lead you in this area. The other thing, more practical things, go out and be social. You know, unless you want to marry the Amazon guy, you need to go out and meet people. You can't just sit in the house all day. I know a lot of women who work from home and they are not getting out and meeting anyone. And that's something that you have to do. And the more you get out and the more you meet people, the more it will encourage you, I think, and you'll feel more confident when people are coming up to you and being interested in you. And a lot of those people will not be the guy, and I'm not saying you should even date chronically or anything. I didn't date that often, but it's important that you're out and you're meeting people in your social so that you can kind of present yourself, to be found by the right person. It's also football season, so it won't be hard to meet guys because they're out there watching football. Um, so it's just a tip for the ladies. It's a good way to meet guys. Is to go watch a couple games. The other thing is keep yourself up. Okay. Don't just go around looking crazy and lazy. Okay. keep yourself together, wear something nice, put a little makeup on. You don't have to be all dolled up other every time, but look your best. Put your best foot forward when you go out, when you go to church, when you go to the store, when you go to meet friends. Keep yourself up. Work out, so that you can feel confident about yourself. I know a few women who say they want a man who has all these things, including a great body, and they want a man who works out, and they don't. So you should try to present yourself as the kind of partner you want to be. So if you want someone who is spiritually sound, you want someone who goes to church, you want someone who knows the Lord, you want someone who's attractive and keeps himself up. You need to be all of those things too. You can't expect from someone else what you don't expect from yourself. So that is important. That's how, I found my person, and through lots of prayer and just waiting and not wanting to jump ahead of God in that area of my life. So I wish all of you many blessings in finding a great partner, a great spouse. And I want you to pray this, Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. I prayed this often when I was asking God for a husband and asking him to bring the right person into my life. And every day when I'm with him, I think about the scripture and the fact that I did get exactly what I prayed for, because he is even more than I asked for, even more than I thought about, even more than I imagined that I would get in a partner. And we're very aligned in so many issues, in so many ways, and particularly in our relationship with God, and that our relationships with God, and that is such a powerful thing, and only God can do that. And I want you to have faith that He can do the same for you, and that He will do the same for you. And try not to be too discouraged when people say nasty things or mean things. A lot of times people just want you to be happy, and sometimes they're pushing you to date someone that who isn't right for you, or they're pushing you to do certain things that when those things aren't right for you. Online dating and things like that. I did a little online dating, and I actually didn't meet my husband online, even though I was completely against online dating for a while, and I would just hop into it for a month and then get out of it, and then the next couple of years hop into it for a month and then get out of it because I just couldn't stomach it. But it could happen in many ways, so you could go online, you could go out, but certainly I would encourage you to just put yourself out there a little more, and be encouraged. Go out and know that you are someone who is worthy of being with, and don't sell yourself short. Don't be with people who play with you or waste your time. um, I have told men before, I'm not here for your entertainment. If you're serious, then we can move forward. If not, then, I exit stage left. I don't sit around and wait for people to play around. And the man who is serious about you will be very clear about his intentions with you. He will be very clear about what he wants to do in the direction of the relationship. And anyone who is not clear about it, you should not stay with. Okay. Um, so I wish you all many blessings. I'm praying over you right now, Lord. I just, at the sound of my voice, anyone who is listening to me and who has this desire, Lord, I ask that you would just bless them, encourage them, show them that they are worthy of the things that they are praying for, Father, that marriage is something that you have created, and that you can help them in this place in their lives. You can help them find the right partner, God. And I ask that you would just continue to give them wisdom and understanding. And above all else, that these people who are listening, who want this thing, that they would know that the most important thing is for them to be close to you and near to you. And then all other things will be given to them as well, Father. Um, and so I bless you all, and I wish nothing but health and happiness over you. And I pray that the God who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine will do that for you in this area of your life. So I wish you well and see you soon.